Commission by making it extremely difficult to remove the commissioners from office. The bill also seeks to take away the prerogative power of the president to determine the date of elections by fixing a date for such elections, and these will now be set in the Constitution in the same way as is done in the United States of America. These are the main issues that should focus our attention. I propose to explain in greater detail to this House and to the general public the true nature and character of the instruments that are currently before this Parliament, if only to enhance their better understanding and appreciation of both their content and their implications for the political development peace and stability of our country that seem to have surrounded the bills before this House. To join me in this assignment will be a hallmark of great leadership and a fitting performance of our collective duty to maintain peace and stability in this country and to promote, preserve, and protect the well-being and prosperity of all who dwell in it. This is the primordial duty that we all owe to the people of this country as members of Parliament and to this veritable institution of Parliament. I shall most certainly perform mine as and when necessary. For now, I shall just simply say here clearly and loudly, and with the authority at my command as Speaker of this Parliament, and mindful also of the need to accelerate momentum in our consideration of the important bills currently before this House, that our unsuspecting compatriots within this country and around the world have been hugely and thoroughly misinformed, misguided, and misdirected. But as promised, I shall elaborate on this further when we get to that point. Also, at this crucial juncture, we should address what, in my opinion, constitutes the foundation upon which so much that is contained in the Public Elections Bill of 2022 is grounded. And it is imperative that first and foremost, we construct the foundation of the metaphoric building if the essence of the new electoral edifice, the Public Elections Bill of 2022, is to be understood and accepted by all and sundry. This is precisely the manner in which the order paper for today's sitting has been crafted. Suffice it, however, that I should make mention here of the egregious harm that has been committed by certain individuals who decided unilaterally and without my prior authorization to upload my personal telephone number on the social media. This singular act of his has caused me great harm. And it did not just stop there. It did not just stop there. They went on to exhort Sierra Leoneans both at home and abroad to send messages to my phone about the perceptions they hold about the public elections bill and what they believe it is purporting to introduce into our body politic. To say the very least, these acts constitute as much intimidation and harassment as they were unwarranted and unnecessary, and in effect an invitation to anarchy under the guise of respectable journalism. Frankly, in my considered opinion, it is the most intolerable and unworthy display of reckless journalism. And I want to take this opportunity to condemn it completely and unreservedly, so that the individual concerned would be better advised in future to try to think twice before indulging in any more despicable and uncanny activities of this sort from the comfort of the environment of his overseas habitat. I hope, honorable members, that a word for the wise is sufficient. With that, we shall now proceed with the business of the day.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, two things. Firstly, on the other paper, we are expecting to see the new MP from constituency 56 being sworn in this morning. And we spoke about it, so I was hoping that we will get that addressed this morning, Mr. Speaker. And secondly, I have keenly and attentively listened to your statement. And I want to say, to a larger extent, you were playing the role of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. But when we come to that point, Mr. Speaker, when the debate itself is on, we will address it accordingly. But meanwhile, Mr. Speaker, for your guide and the guide of this House, I would want you to avert your mind to Section 108(9)(b) of our Constitution, Act number 6 of 1991. The Public Elections Act is not just a bill, it is a super bill. That is what I want to say for the Mr. Speaker.
The point you made about the swearing in of the new member of parliament is well taken.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
in the first place, I don't know, Mr. Speaker, except probably my friend is trying to introduce a new word. I don't know what he means by super big before this House. And secondly, Mr. Speaker, it does not lie within our purview at this point to decide to swear in anybody that has won any election. It does not lie within our purview for now. Because as a matter of fact, it is for Parliament to receive a certificate. Not so? It's for Parliament to receive a certificate. And that communication should be done by the clerk. So as a matter of fact, we are in the chambers this morning to proceed with the business of the day. And Mr. Speaker, honorable members, my friend knows as well as I do that when we appear in the chambers of the House, It is what is on the other paper that we should talk about. Except probably the leader of government business decides to amend. Otherwise, we cannot say anything outside this. Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, as I said earlier, Mr. Speaker, the words supervene and my words, and I said when it is time for debate, we'll bring that out. I also made attempts to avert your mind to a certain provision in the Constitution. But regarding the swearing of the member, Mr. Speaker, I know what I said, and I am comfortable with what I said. I know for a fact I did not just make a statement, I made the statement after thorough investigations. And as I said, we left here on the last adjourned date when he was not here. So he does not know the we left. I could not have said it. I could not have said it if I had not had a platform to say it. I did guidedly because I know the footing upon which we left. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I did not just talk because I wanted to talk, but we left on a specific footing, which is why I was convenient to rise and remind the Speaker of what we are doing upon. I will also confirm to you that a certificate has been sent to the office of the clerk. I confirmed that again with the clerk before making the statement.
Hold on. You see, when we are in the chambers of the House, we should address the public. The public, Mr. Speaker, is listening. We should not be talking in riddles. As far as I know, all what is said is in riddles. Let's get our people to know exactly what we are saying here. Let's get them to know. As I said, and I insist, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the clerk has not come to these chambers to tell us whether or not to swear in a new member of parliament. What we should be discussing at this particular moment is the other paper. And nothing else.
Mr. Speaker. Okay, sorry, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I have heard you made a proposal and you asked us to talk to the commissioner. You sent a notice to all of us that you want the certificate to be issued so that we can get you back to be sworn in. Due to the holidays, we drafted the other paper. We said we left, but they said they will left. So I was not informed by the clerk if you have received the certificate. So I promise you, ICT will be tomorrow, Friday. The swearing will take place definitely. So from here, I will contact the clerk and get the certificate. I will proceed. So if we have the certificate, go ahead. I said, Mr. Speaker. So that's what we have to say for now. And I beg we continue to proceed this now.
Mr. Speaker, on that note, I want to thank the leader of government business for not speaking in riddles. I want to thank you. Based on what he has said, Mr. Speaker, I understand and I accept. We proceed, Mr. Speaker.
Shall we then proceed with the day's business?
Bills. The Constitution of Sierra Leone Amendment Act 2022, being an act to amend subsections 2 and 8 of Section 32 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone 1991. Introduction and first reading, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I move that the bill entitled the Constitution of Sierra Leone, Amendment Act 2022 be read the first time.
So small.
Honorable members, the question is that the bill entitled the Constitution of Sierra Leone Amendment Act 2022 be read the first time.
Mr. Speaker, before you do the question, please. Before you put the question,
Yeah.
just for in the interest of progress, we have two amendment acts before us. And based on the first lady, the statement of the first lady, and I was waiting for your own statement question. It is not clear which one. It is not clear which one. And we cannot do both together. And it's not clear which one. That's no. That's they don't that clear. They don't that you can make it clear. Mr. Speaker, it's not clear which one.
Come on, now you have to do Come on. Now you
You have your other paper. No, before you did, you had the other paper. And the other paper clearly indicated
as the other paper stated, there is no reason for us to deviate. The reading, the statement the first reading, should not deviate from what is contained in the other paper because it's for records. This other paper is not even records, but the code of proceedings, what he has read now, will be included in the code of proceedings and even the answers. But the other paper will not be included in the answers for records. So there's no reason for us to deviate from the content of the other paper. Go read it as contained in the other paper, and that one will be included in the answers that we will use in the next 50 years. But this one is after today it will be inspired.
the Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, I will follow through what Mr. Speaker, I have another paper on me, and the presumption is the first bill that is to be tabled is pursuant to the other paper. So I follow through the other paper, Mr. Speaker, but I will still go through again for expediency. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I move that the bill entitled Constitution of Sierra Leone Amendment Act 2022 being an act to amend subsections 2 and 8 of section 32 of the Constitution 1991 be read the first time.
Thank you, learned attorney. Honorable members, the question is that the bill entitled the Constitution of Sierra Leone Amendment Act 2022, being an act to amend subsections 2 and 8 of Section 32 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone 1991, be read the first time. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The bill entitled the Constitution of Sierra Leone Amendment Act has been read the first time. Second reading.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I move that the bill entitled Constitution of Sierra Leone Amendment Act 2022, being an act to amend subsections 2 and 8 of Section 32 of the Constitution 1991, be read the second time. Mr. Speaker, the proposed bill for the Constitution of Sierra Leone Amendment Act 2022 seeks to amend Section 32 for two reasons. Amendment Act 2022 be read the second time.
Honorable members, the question is that the bill entitled the Constitution of Sierra Leone Amendment Act 2022, being an act to amend subsections 2 and 8 of Section 32 of the Constitution the second time. I thought perhaps the chairman of the legislative committee is here. No, I'm coming. Do you have anything to say before I open the debate?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. It's going to be very short. Honorable members, we are here today again as representatives of the people. We have in front of us a progressive bill that seeks to amend some of the laws we had before. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're just fine-tuning. When we look at subsection 2, it's about making provision for what we had that we have not reaffirmed. We created the 5th region, but we have no commissioner for that. We are not asking for anything new, anything extraordinary, just to ensure that we do the needful. That's not contentious. It's serving the people in the right interest. When we have subsection 8, we have it already in the Public Elections Act of 2012. It mentioned gross misconduct, but proper provision was not made for it. So this morning, what we have here again is just to reaffirm what we already have. It's not contentious. We're just doing the needful. I'll rest my case, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, a few minutes ago, my colleague on this side was insisting that the Attorney General read the exact words on the order paper on the bill. I got up just to point out that when the Attorney General was reading, he omitted the word gross. He said the words should be changed from misconduct, from misbehavior to misconduct. But the important word in this whole amendment is the word gross. What does it mean? We on this side believe that if there is going to be a change, it must be explained to us and the country what is the difference between misbehavior. What is the difference between misbehavior and gross misconduct? What does misbehavior mean? What does misconduct mean? And the word, the qualifying word is gross. Why is the change necessary? It's all we want to do. We are not here just to oppose an amendment. And in that section again, there is an attempt to remove the word for, F-O-U-R, to such. This has not been explained to us. It's not a question of whether there should be a new province or a new district, etc., etc. The bill deals with who should be the electoral commissioner. Just to say such, is that not open-ended? It can go up to 20, 50, but in the original provision in the Constitution, the number was identified as 4. So what are we going to have? We need this thing to be certain. Mr. Speaker, under Section 73 of the Constitution, the purpose of legislating is for us to make laws for the peace, security, order, and good government of Sierra Leone. We are here in this world. We have been here since last week. We can remember what happened. Today we are coming here. The number of security officials that are around the vicinity of this building far exceeds us who are here. The reason is the contention in this amendment and in the bill. It shows that the nation, the members of parliament, are aware that the amendments that are being proposed are not for the provision or the passing of the law that will be for peace, security, order, and good government. That is why there is this challenge, not only here, but all over the country. Mr. Speaker has made a statement telling us of the good of the amendment proposed. That we respect your opinion, but we believe that your statement was premature. Mr. Speaker, we know and we are experienced enough to know that the role of the Speaker is to be an independent arbiter. We will not take it kindly that you have made a statement stating your position. Mr. Speaker, that's very right.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for giving me the floor. Mr. Speaker, let me start by stating the fact that as the umpire of this House, it is your primordial responsibility to educate the public. You started your submission this morning by stating that you were reacting or you were trying to correct social media, media houses, misunderstanding and misrepresentation of what the bill ought to do today. And one of that is misconception is the fact that there has been an assumption. I want to take the cue from the chairman of the legislative committee. Mr. Speaker, because already the big before us, the Public Elections Act of 2022 seeks to amend the Public Elections Act of 2012. And the Public Election Section 5. Section 5 of the Public Elections Act of 2012 exactly stated the provision of the constitutional amendment made before us by the Honorable Attorney General. So for me, I see no need why we need the constitutional instrument when the 2022 Act that is causing any consternation is already stated expertly and word for word. Gross misconduct in subsection 5, in section 5, subsection 1 of the 2012 Act. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I want to observe. Sorry, sir. I'm sorry. This is very important. He has raised a concern about gross misconduct mentioned in Section 5 of 2012 Public Elections Act. It means there must be an instrument that amended Section 32.8. 32.8. That is asking us that we have used gross misconduct in the present Act.
There's no instrument.
So we need it in 2012. So for us to discuss it again, I think that is superfluous. It's superfluous, sir. So we ask him, perhaps my colleague on the other side can help. If we have it here, if you don't want to carry it, let me read the provision. Section 5. Section 5. So, Mr. Speaker, Section 5, page 6, Public Election Act 2012. I read, Mr. Speaker, pursuant to subsection 8 of Section 32 of the Constitution, a member of the Commission may be removed from office by the President for inability to discharge the function of the office, whether arising from infirmity of mind or body or any other cause, or for gross misconduct. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I may literally, I want to read the Constitution, Section 32, subsection 8, I read. We want to be consistent and homogeneous, the whole make laws. This is an act of parliament. We are saying there must be an amendment to the Constitution before enacting it. Otherwise, Parliament must have done something wrong. I'm not debating, sir. I don't want to. I need direction from Mr. Speaker. I beg. Let me read Section 32, subsection. I'm following the question posed by Honorable Tawa. We don't want to embarrass Parliament. Mr. Speaker, the provision they are seeking to amend has already enshrined in Section 5 of the Public Elections Act 2012. Section 8, a member of by the President for inability to discharge the functions of his office, in bracket, whether arising from infirmity of mind or body or any other cause, or for misbehavior in the Constitution. So we don't know what is happening. Now again, we are here again want to amend the same provision of what's in the Act. We need direction. Either we go with the 2012 Act, forget about this, the bill, and endorse this one, the instrument. But we cannot be seen making two laws. We have authority. Superfluous. I respect.
Mr. Speaker, this bill is so simple. Going back to the 2012 Act does not help us. We're dealing with what is before us. What is before us?
Point of order. Please, sir. Again. Point of order. Mr. Speaker, this is a very serious sitting. I know we are anxious to get to the conclusion of the business of the day. I'm pleading with everybody in the house. We are invited people from the public, from all political parties and stakeholders. I beg you, please let us observe maximum decorum in this chamber today. For the sake of this nation. That it be quiet, please. For the sake of the nation. People want to hear us. Let us allow members to speak so that Mr. Speaker can make a clear judgment on the issue. Thank you very much. I beg you, please just be quiet.
Mr. Speaker, it is clear that we have to deal with what is before us. What is before us is a bill with a provision to amend the Constitution by replacing the word misbehavior to gross misconduct. If the leader and honorable content from the honorable are saying that it has been done before by Section 5 of the 2012 Act. Why are we here? What are we doing? To amend the 2012 Act when it already has gross misbehavior, gross misconduct? What is this? What are we having here? This is what we're saying. When you want to do things, do it right. The 2020 Act, from what the leader and the leader have done, is supposed to have amended it. So what are we doing now? Amending the 2012 Act or amending the Constitution? If what is here says we are amending the Constitution, then this paper does not want to sort the price or the paper that is being written on, because there is no need. If it is now saying that it has been amended before, then there is no need for an amendment. What is this for? That is the question. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, thank you, Deputy Speaker. I can just see one way. Citing the Constitution that we don't want to be. There's no conflict with the Constitution. What we did, we have asked for the constitutional instrument since we got the bill. So we don't want to be in conflict with the Constitution. So we are asking that. They said, when we started this whole business, they said, let us have constitutional instrument first before debating this one. Mr. Speaker, I went in search of the constitutional instrument that amended that provision. But we did not see it at all. So my colleague on the other side, I was not expecting that question to come now. But it's a trigger the debate for us to be consistent with the law. We should not be in conflict with the Constitution. As I said, homogeneity of the law is concerned, but not in conflict with the Constitution. The Constitution makes very clear in section 171, subsection 15, that any law in the Constitution supersedes any other law. And if we are not saying constitutional instrument, it means this one is not valid. 2012. It's not valid. So that's why we are asking that it's all here already, but we don't have a constitutional instrument. So bringing it is like we are trying to correct something that is not correct. So, but I think, Mr. Speaker, I think the clarification we are seeking for, we are under the previous administration. Where is the constitutional instrument amending section 32, section 8 of the Constitution addressing misbehavior? Because they have now put it in this act. Now it's conflict with the Constitution. So I leave you with the wonder question or answer. What went wrong? And what can you deliver for us on this particular provision? Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, all what we are seeking to know is proof from the opposition. If they are arguing. In law, of course, my colleagues on the other side know that he who asserts must prove. If you are saying listen to the constitutional instrument, so we are waiting.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Since this morning, nobody has asserted that there was a constitutional instrument in 2012 amending this particular part of the constitution. Nobody has asserted. And Mr. Speaker, may I say, Mr. Speaker, may I say that we have mentioned in this House times without number that there is no perfect law, and laws are only relevant when they are triggered.
Thank you.
We have mentioned it times without number. Mr. Speaker, we keep referring to previous administration. In 2012, when this act was passed, myself and the leader of government, Mr. Speaker, in this House.
Yeah.
We were in this House. Mr. Speaker, we were in this House when this document was passed. As I said, I referred to the two-seat saga during the last sitting, that before last elections, two-sim was not an issue. We had so many two-simmers in this House. It was only when it was triggered before the 2018 elections, it became an issue. Now that this has been picked up, 32 is now an issue. We must deal with it and we have to address it. Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, in 2012, anything was done by this parliament. Mr. Speaker, today, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, what simply this parliament is doing is correcting the wrongs of the past. I think there is no we should not have contention here, Mr. Speaker, honorable members. The fact that the honorable member from Procedural have said there is no perfect law, and we have realized there was a lacuna in this bill. They use this act to amend the constitution. Simply what we are doing as members of parliament is to amend the constitution in the proper way. That is why the Attorney General and Minister of Justice has brought to us a constitutional amendment of 32(8). So we should be together in this, honorable members. There should be no contention. It has been amended before now, and the wrong procedure was used, and we are doing the right procedure, honorable members. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to join my colleague from Normally, who said this law was amended using the field, using the Elections Act of 2012, and today we are doing the proper means of amendment. Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, may I say something? We need to be guided. It is very clear, as the leader said earlier, if you have a law that is inconsistent with the Constitution, it is punctus. Yeah. So this law in 2012 could have been challenged in court if anything had risen up. But fortunately, no commissioner was sacked or asked to sit aside. Basically, there was a law in 2012, but the law was punctus. That is the point, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. We wanted, the difference between parliament. The difference between parliament under your jurisdiction and your supervision is that we tend to do the right thing. tend to do the right thing. And that has been our motive, that has been our principle. So, in the interest for us strengthening the Electoral Commission, as you rightly stated in your speech, we know something has gone wrong sometime, somewhere in 2012. Let us proceed in our bid to strengthen the Electoral Commission, Mr. Speaker. That is where we are doing the right thing now. But I think my colleagues on the other side, since you have realized that something went wrong, I don't want to say on that day, I'm on record, that I objected. It was a government motion. Mr. Speaker, I objected. But you know, Osai! Osai! Mr. Speaker, one for all. You see me? See for you. That's the thing. Mr. Speaker, you see, we are all guilty of doing mistakes one way or the other. As he said, there is no perfect law. So today we are all set to do the right thing, so that we cannot be in conflict with the Constitution. I clearly agree with the leader of the opposition, and I want all of us to support in strengthening the commission institution, the National Election Commission. So let us proceed, Mr. Speaker, with your leave. Please, we want you to help us to proceed now. Thank you.
So, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, please. Since this morning, this is the first time I'm standing for this.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Clearly, if I can take the cue from the Deputy Leader of Government Business, there should be no need for this issue to be contentious, as he rightly stated. But however, that does not preclude Honorable from Western Area to require or request the Learned Attorney General to at least help edify the public. We are here legislating. He is asking that, firstly, some of the provisions here are open-ended. And in legislating, we must ensure certainty and clarity. Laws must be certain and precise. And then secondly, this issue has only become a controversial issue now because the current opposition in Parliament is a very effective opposition. While in 2012, the opposition there, I don't know whether they were sleeping or not. But this opposition this time around is a very effective opposition, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, I like the conclusion. Mr. Speaker, I enjoy the conclusion, and the current opposition is very effective. Mr. Speaker, it shows that those of us sitting on this side, representing the government, we know exactly what we want. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable from Constituency 124 was asking, why are we here? We are here because we have responsibility under Section 44 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, we have to make law for the regulations of presidential, parliamentary, and other related elections. And in doing that, we have to be sure that the extant law, that the 2022 law or bill seeks to amend or to repeal, is consistent with provisions in that law. Because, however, as members of parliament, we have big laws in this house. And those laws that will be repealed, it's not as if we take off all the other provisions that are in existence in those laws. We manage between those that are in existence that are good and those that are in existence that we think needs to be progressive. And part of those progressive positions, Mr. Speaker, is the fact that we need not to waste time on a provision that is already in existence. And Mr. Speaker, on Tuesday last week, you made mention of a very critical position here, that amending the Constitution without going through the process stated in Section 108 is treasonable.
Mr. Speaker, we cannot be conned into believing that the position of the other side is easy to accept that we are going to reinstate subsection 1 of section 5 of the 2012 Act. We have to be consistent with the Constitution. We want to be clear that the constitutional instrument before us, seeking law that covers that, and for us, as members of parliament, we think we need not to waste the time with the public and the taxpayers. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Before I call on the other speaker, you made reference to the 2012 law. Honorable, will you read the precise word that is contained there?
The leader of government business has done what I will do. Subsection 1 of section 5 of the Public Elections Act of 2012. It says, pursuant to subsection 8 of section 32 of the Constitution, a member of the Commission may be removed from office by the President for inability to discharge the functions of the office, whether arising from infirmity of mind or body or any other cause, or for gross misconduct. Gross misconduct is what is stated in the constitutional instrument that is invariant to the provision of subsection 8 of 32, which states misbehavior in the Constitution.
So in other words, there was a change of act in 2012
Mr. Chairman, can I interrupt?
by Parliament.
Mr.
God,
Speaker, can I interrupt you?
will you please be patient? It's very clear to my mind that the Constitution speaks of misbehavior as a ground for removing a commissioner. As one of the grounds, misbehavior. And there is no definition of misbehavior there. But in 2012, it seems there was a change of heart. Because obviously, misbehavior and gross misconduct cannot mean the same thing. Cannot mean the same thing. One is stronger than the other. So, Mr. Attorney General, I can see where you are coming from. Maybe you want to elaborate further for the edification of the House and the general public.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, the Attorney General will have enough time for the purpose of speed. He has enough time. At the end of the second reading, he will have to respond. Rather than going back and forth, this thing is clear. I think he has time. The rules make provision for him to respond adequately. Rather than coming now, and he will have another opportunity to come later again. You know,
On this specific point,
he will respond, sir.
no, please, allow me now.
All right, sir.
Let it be clear that the language of the Constitution is misbehavior,
Yes, that is what the member said.
which is very weak by any definition.
It was done in 1991.
1991, indeed.
When you were a member of the SARS.
Indeed. I don't know where you were then.
You were a member of the committee.
I was assisting with research.
Obviously, there was a change of heart in 2012 to make it more difficult to remove a commissioner, and hence the insertion of gross misconduct in the 2012 Act. But it's inconsistent, obviously. With the Constitution, to the extent that the two words do not mean the same thing. So again, I will call on,
Mr. Speaker, please, just to clarify.
by all means.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
Hold on one second.
Mr. Speaker, time is past 12.
I therefore move that we suspend clause 5.2 so we continue the business of the House.
Thank you. Any seconder to that motion?
I so second, Mr. Speaker.
All in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yes, you may.
Mr. Speaker, we are here to legislate, and we have guides. One of them is the memorandum of objects and duties. What you find there in the ultimate line is that the subsection with replacing that subsection with a new subsection and repealing the word misbehavior and substituting the words gross misconduct. This is all I was saying, and we should be consistent. The learned attorney general mentioned misconduct. I got up immediately just to remind you the words they are displayed is gross misconduct. But if our colleagues on the other side are saying that it was amended in 2012, but that amendment was wrong, they cannot say that. It is law until the wrong in that law is wiped out. That is the law. It is the law. Some of our colleagues over there came into this parliament under this 2012 Act. Are we saying that they came here wrongly? They came under the deal in 2012. Well, the law is the law. That's what I'm saying. So, how are you here to amend something that was amended?
Mr. Speaker, point of order. Mr. Speaker, let me clarify something. We on this other side did not say it was amended. It was inserted in the 2012 Elections Public Act, but it was not amended in the Constitution. Because in the Constitution we have misbehavior. And in 2012 Act, it is gross misconduct. So now we want to change the word misbehavior in the Constitution to misconduct, to gross misconduct, to match with the 2012 Act. Simple. And Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I'm sure my colleague from Wellington was not here in 2012. He just said the opposition in 2012 was not. He said 2012. I came here in 2012. No. Let me finish, Mr. Leader. I came here in 2012. In any case, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the opposition in 2012 by then was not weak. It is only now that we have a democratic president and a democratic speaker that want to make sure that the laws are put straight. Mr. Speaker, members, you'll be surprised to know that even the amendment they did in 2012, we can only hands on the Hansard. We can only hand on the Hansard. The Hansard is not available, Mr. Speaker. It is not. So the governing party at that time Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I've asked you, I will proceed. I've asked you to also proceed. In the interest of protecting making the commission very strong, that's one. And we have established that there was no constitutional instrument, we have agreed. On the other side, he said, it's amended, but if we think it's a complete constitution, we should proceed. So on that ground, I want us to proceed. No, let me come. For me, the first day we started on this legality, constitutional instrument, Mr. Speaker, you mentioned section 108, subsection 8 of the Constitution. talking about altering or suspending the Constitution as a treasonable offense. You mentioned that one. And you accepted that we must do the right thing in bringing the instrument for the amendment. That's what you have done. So what has happened in the past, let's accept it and move on. Let us move on. Let us move on. I mean, it's our position to do the right thing now. Let us do the correction. Let us allow the debate to proceed. But I perfectly want to agree with Honorable Manispi that we need to define what to talk about gross misconduct. Because even in section 51 of the 1921 Constitution, the removal of the president talks about gross misconduct. Yes. There is no judges, gross misconduct. Chief, gross misconduct. And we are talking about setting tribunal. If you read section 5 of the Act, Public Elections Act, and even the proposed bill, tells you about section 137 of the Constitution of the Procedural of the Tribunal, referring to gross misconduct. So I agree with you that we define what is gross misconduct. So don't proceed, Mr. Speaker. We are here representing people. This is a concern. What has gone wrong in the past, we just don't have to repeat it. We are going to correct it and move forward. That's why we said new direction. The new direction. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well, I'm glad that we drew the attention of the House to the provisions, for example, in Section 51, it uses the same term, gross misconduct, as the ground for the removal of Mr. President and for judges. So, I think in the interest of consistency in the law, I think it is important that the same language be used. Exactly.
Yes,
yes.
I was on. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm in the debate.
Who?
I was. Mr. Speaker. I want to believe. That whether it is misbehavior or misconduct, it will all result to the same thing, depending on the definition of reason. When you look at the laws, are all treated by misconduct, misbehavior. Now it's gross misconduct. What I want to say here, Mr. Speaker, is the exact interpretation of either misbehavior or misconduct. Because it will depend on what the judge will say, the boss will say. If I abuse somebody, abusing somebody is a misbehavior. But it can be described as a misconduct or even a gross misconduct, depending on the situation. Mr. Speaker, what we have here is, to me, it's not a question of looking at misbehavior or misconduct. What we have here is to define exactly what misconduct, gross misconduct will be. Because if we let it go as open as it was, then there will still be a problem whether we accept gross misconduct or not. Even section 8, when we look at both subjects before us today, Mr. Speaker, it's a question of, one, the number of commissioners, two, whether it is misconduct or misbehavior. The number of commissioners. Here again, Mr. Speaker, we have a problem. Even if we accept to amend the Constitution, then if we accept it openly like that, we still create a problem. Now, another commissioner may be created in the short term using this instrument that we have today. I think what we have here is, we want to look at the number of commissioners. We have to make sure
that we have an exact number that will not be tampered with. Otherwise, it will be used again to create another region and more
Honorable member, aren't you confusing the situation?
He's confused himself. Himself, he's confused. Even himself, he's confused what he says.
Hold on. The Constitution presently uses the figure 4. Read the amendment that is sought to be made. If you read the amendment, you realize that the present wording of the Constitution does not allow for the appointment of a commissioner for the new region that has been created. Because it talks about the chairman and 4 commissioners specifically. And now there is a 5th region. So unless you effect an amendment to that provision, you cannot have a 5th commissioner. So that's why the Attorney General has come to the House to seek an amendment to that particular provision. Not the other way around, as you seem to be thinking. I hope that clarifies it.
It does not.
It doesn't?
It doesn't.
Okay, then consult with your colleague next.
What I want to say is, I do not have a problem. To me, I do not have a problem in changing the figure 4. But I have a problem with just copying it. Okay? That is to avoid every elections we have another region. That is what we speak.
I'm sure there is a reason for wanting to open it. Yes, let me give it.
Mr. Speaker, maybe for the edification of my colleague, no matter what one may say, we have to commend the 4th Parliament. They did a job, and a good job, even though they did not complete it. Strengthening the 2012 Act by laying gross misconduct, leaving a backlog on the very instrument. This 5th Parliament is here to correct it, Mr. Speaker. And NEC has done a very brilliant job by raising the threshold of gross misconduct. For his information, that is the conventional language across the sub-Sahara. For paramount chiefs, for judges, even for the president, etc., etc. Mr. Speaker, what again I must commend the 4th Parliament for by creating Northwestern. Yes, they did not provide the mover and the shaker. What I will also commend the learned AG for the moment, leaving it open-ended. How did we get Northwestern region? Yes, the responsible or designated official that's supposed to man out of it was not there. Who knows what will happen tomorrow? AG, I must commend you. A year ago, late December, the minister Tamalabina local government was there again for the same thing. Minister Makaka in 2017 suspended the local government act for 1 year additional to the mayor and chairman. He already suspended. The minister Tamalabina corrected another historical record history again. What did he do? He said he's amending this amount, amending from 4 years to 5 years. So what I'm saying, I must commend all of us from both sides. This 5th Parliament, we are wise, we are all ears and all eyes. This I must commend you and our delegation. Thank you very much.
Yeah, let me hear you, and I hope this time you will come to a conclusion. Because you said you were cut short.
I never started. No proof. The leader of our ministers can attest to that. And I've never started. The speaker, honorable members. Yeah, I was starting. Thank you very much. As I start, I just want to plead with you just want to plead with you in the first place that the nature of your announcement today needs to be furnished to all MPs before the conclusion of this debate. Thank God, I know that the officers responsible for record of votes and proceedings have taken notes. And that one will be copiously included in the record of votes and proceedings and in the answers of Procedural. But before the conclusion of this debate, I'm pleading with you, sir, that announcement, a super announcement today, be included in the record of votes and proceedings and furnished to all MPs before the conclusion of the second reading of this bill. And secondly, in response to my honorable leader from Bono,
Mr. Speaker, I have been elected by the chair of the Senate.
Mr. Speaker, in response to the honorable leader from Bono,
Yes, I like to honorable member reference the second reading of the bill. I don't know which bill. To me, it is actually.
In response to my honorable leader from Bono, referencing past precedents by previous governments in respect of the Local Government Act, I respectfully submit, of which you are therefore aware, that what was done in respect of the past suspensions of the relevant provisions of the Local Government Act to allow 4 years tenure to match with the tenure of the President and members of Parliament was not unlawful. It was not unparliamentary, it was not unlawful. It was not.
The threshold was higher.
All right.
Amended.
Then second topic, Mr. Speaker, we all know the essence of these amendments, the purpose of these constitutional amendments. We are taking this option by way of avoid the draft of subsection 8 of section 108. We want subsection 8 of section 108 to be happy in passing the electoral law before us. And you can all agree with me that it is in respect of that these constitutional amendments are before us. So my question now is, as I speak and address you, we have 2 proposed amendments for the attention of this House. The question is that enough?
Sorry, Mr.
And you can all agree with me that it is in respect of that these constitutional amendments are before us. So my question now is, Mr. Speaker, I believe these proceedings ought to be covered live by SLBC as a national broadcaster. Mr. Speaker, I have to proceed. My question is, we are here to avoid the anger of subsection 8 of section 108. So by bringing these 2 constitutional amendments, proposed constitutional amendments, will subsection 108 will subsection 8 of section 108 be happy? Will that section be satisfied? My answer is no. It will not.
it will not be satisfied. Because the proposed electoral bill already before us, and within the second reading process, has much more constitutional issues that ought to be amended as the Attorney General has attempted to do these ones now. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we are here to show to the public and to this government that on this side we are Sierra Leoneans. We are more Sierra Leoneans than APC. We are more Sierra Leoneans than APC. So we cannot keep quiet. We cannot keep quiet. And now at the end of the day, you tell us if it is not acceptable, vote against it. That will not be in the interest of this country. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, did the Attorney General avert his mind to Section 31 of the Constitution? Did he avert his mind to Section 31 of the Constitution in respect of the proposed amendment contained in Clause 13 of the Public Elections Act? Did he avert his mind? Will subsection 8 of Section 38 be happy with the proposed amendment in Clause 13? Mr. Speaker, I need your attention, sir. Mr. Speaker, no, I give full respect to the two super speakers. After they confer, then I will continue. I give due respect to the two super speakers. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as I said earlier, we are here to prove to you that we are more Sierra Leonean. We cannot sit back and say we are here to harvest from your mistake. Because by then, Sierra Leone would have suffered. And the damage would have been irreparable. So as a result, we are advising the Attorney General that these two instruments does not suffice. He needs to do more. Otherwise, we cannot proceed. We cannot conclude. We can proceed now, but we cannot conclude. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, on the bills before us now, we will start with the commissioners. The commissioners, when I was sitting this morning, I was a bit worried. Say, what? Maybe the speaker is not even comfortable with this side. Or maybe you've forgotten that we are here as a Sierra Leone Parliament, not as political parties. When something is good, we support it. When it is not good, we will stand against it. If you interpret that one as being in bad faith, then so be it. But when it is good, we will prove to you. In the first place, as it is now, Mr. Speaker, those who want to go for a nap, they could go and come back. But let us walk, Mr. Speaker.
That's it. That is it.
Mr. Speaker, as it is now, the Constitution provides for 4 regions. But in practice, we have 5. So if the Attorney General is here to attempt to ensure that the reality matches with the legal provision, then what do you expect us to do as Sierra Leonean? To support and make it better. And this is how we think it can be made better. Thank God you were part of that Constitutional Review Committee, of which we have this constitution that has stand the test of time for decades. You were not out of your mind to ensure that a figure be attached in this constitution. You were not out of your mind. And I believe it was for a very good reason. And because it was for a very good reason, I'm here to speak that we are ready to take the cue from the drafters of this constitution based on the current trends that exist now. We are ready to take the cue. They were not fools. Drafters of this constitution were not fools. Mr. Speaker cannot be a fool at that time. You were very wise. In fact, I used to score over 80% in my social studies. When you can spell the name of the current Secretary General at that time of ECOWAS, Dr. Abbas Bundu, I wrote it. They gave me 80% social studies.
I was told you misspelled my name.
Well, your name, I was able to communicate with my teachers then, because your name is not an English word. So the spelling depends on the individual, and maybe the country of that. Your names are not English words. But I was able to communicate to my teacher, and he gave me 80%. For at least identifying you as the Secretary General then of ECOWAS. So we are ready to take a cue, sir. You stated 4, based on the current trend at that time. We are ready, the current trend now says 5. We are ready to state 5. Don't be afraid of us. We are Sierra Leoneans.
Okay, well, sit down now. Mr. Speaker, sir, please. Mr. Speaker. Can I just observe, Mr. Speaker?
Second,
it's nothing controversial.
On the next issue, Mr. Speaker.
Can I just observe, Mr. Speaker, please? I beg you, sir. Can I just observe, please?
APC, go ahead. APC, go ahead.
It's just an observation. Please, sir. Nothing controversial, sir. I want to help my landed colleague over there. One thing, Mr. Speaker, all of us as members of Parliament in this House must be mindful of one thing: the Constitution of Salon is not rigid. In a sense, as we evolve, as nations develop, this Constitution is bound to be changed as we grow up as a nation. Let's understand. The changes the Attorney General is bringing here today is to stand the test of time as to our current generation. It is also likely that the next generation that will sit here after us may likely change what we may pass here today. So let us understand that. So therefore, this has nothing to do with red, green, or yellow, or purple. It is to stand the test of time for our generations to come. And thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, point of correction. I want the honourable member to realize that ours is a written constitution. We don't have an unwritten constitution. Ours is a written constitution, and therefore it is rigid. So I beg to differ from what he's saying.
It's flexible.
No. It is not. It is rigid.
Try and conclude, please.
On the second point, Mr. Speaker. The second point, the Attorney General is proposing that the word misbehavior, as stated in the Constitution, is weak. Any amount of misconduct can be construed as misbehavior. And in his attempt to ensure that the independence of the Electoral Commission is observed and upheld, he has proposed constitutional method, which is not new. We know this one. Don't be afraid of us. We are Sierra Leoneans. We know. Even for the removal of the president, it's for gross misconduct. So for consistency's sake, for consistency on the removal of public officials, especially high-level public officials, even for member of parliament, it's for gross misconduct. So what we are saying here, for clarity, the easiest thing to do, of which, thank God, the leader of government is not averse to it, is to put in the definition the meaning of gross misconduct. Simple. Because we checked, for your information, sir, because we had wanted to help. In support of this one, we had wanted to help more. But unfortunately, we checked Interpretation Act, which you know, I know, it is not there. Okay? And then in this bill, it is not there. And then in the proposed elections bill, it is also not there. And in our opinion, it is important for it to be inserted by way of definition. As long as it has been defined, clear, approved by this parliament, then so be it. Because that attempt really supports the move to make the electoral commissioner more independent and autonomous. Because if they say misbehavior, for instance, you can call me on phone. I don't pick a call, I don't return your call. That amounts to misbehavior. If I don't pick, okay, but when I see your missed call, I should respond, I should call you back. Failing to do that amounts to misbehavior. But another instance, you can call me on your phone, I pick your call, you tell me your opinion, I disagree with you, you argue with me, I argue with you, then all of a sudden, in the middle of an argument, I put my phone off. That is different. So we on this side, we are not advanced to the insertion of the word gross misconduct. The only thing, let it be inserted in the definition section, and then it will be approved by the service. Thank you very much.
I'll take just the two more speakers, and then wind up this particular debate. Yes.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as the first speaker on this issue said, the chairman of the legislative committee, indeed, the amendment we are seeking is not too controversial. However, there are issues that I believe that need clarity, and that is why members are raising them up. With regards gross misconduct, it is clear that gross misconduct is stronger than misbehavior. However, we may want to know what gross misconduct is. It depends on how you define it. It depends on how you define it. To me, a certain act could be a gross misconduct, but to you, it might not. So it is important that we know. With regards section 32, with regards section 32(2), that talks about the need for us to have the commissioners. It is important that we attach number to it based on the current geographical regions that we have in the country. And something also comes to mind when we talk about the constitutional amendments we are talking about here. I remember very well when His Excellency the President was launching the white paper on the recommendations of the CRC. You were there, Mr. Speaker, and you made it abundantly clear in your statement that whatever comes to this house that has to do with the Constitution will not be rushed with. And therefore, we are asking the learned Attorney General here present to look into it critically. To look into it very critically. At the end of the day, we will not want to be having this argument back and forth.
if you want for us to look at those reviews, those things that you think in our constitution needs to be amended, come forth with them. They should not be coming in piecemeal. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, if they come in piecemeal, it's a problem. We want to hear from the Attorney General with regards the constitutional review, the white paper that the government has adopted. What is the stance about it? Because most of these issues are there. That is why we are saying, we are asking the government to be very clear with regards these constitutional amendments. At the end of the day, now we have 2 amendments before Parliament. But these 2 amendments, I believe, are not the only ones that are affected by the proposed 2022 public elections bill that we have. If we come there again and we see other issues that has to do with the Constitution, then at the end of the day we will not be able to make much progress. But we want to see that we get this thing done and dusted, because at the end of the day we don't want to serve as an impediment towards the upcoming elections. As far as we are concerned, we believe that come the 24th of June 2023, this nation must go into elections. And so whatever it is that should serve as stumbling block, we should avert it. And these constitutional amendments are very key. We don't want to commit treason. We don't want to commit treason. That is why we are reminding the government through the Attorney General to go through the bill critically and identify the other sections that are in it that has to do with the 1991 Constitution. Otherwise, by the time we come there, we will be going over this again, back and forth. And under your watch, you've given the assurance to this House and to the people of Sierra Leone that this 1991 Constitution of Sierra Leone is sacred, and you will not sit there and see it abrogated without the due process. We owe you to that, and the people of Sierra Leone owe you to that. Okay? With regards public perception about what we are doing here in this House, this is a public house, Mr. Speaker. We are here representing the people of Sierra Leone. They have every right to know what's going on in this House. And as members of Parliament, we owe it as our duty and responsibility to inform them adequately as to our activities in this House. I was really taken aback when I listened to your admonition this morning. Because at the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, most of those issues you made mention of, as others have said, it should come from the Attorney General. He is the one that is piloting this bill. He should be in place to educate members of Parliament very well about this bill, and by extension the public. But since this thing was piloted, members of Parliament have been bashed at seriously. A lot of people even thought that it was presented by members of Parliament, not knowing that it's a government bill and it is coming from the executive arm of government. So at the end of the day, members of Parliament have a responsibility to clear their name, to make things to the public. So, with regards your stance with the proportional representation, we'll come there when we'll get there. We'll talk about it when we get there. But we believe the proportional representation, yes, it is. It will not distract me. Honorable members, Mr. Speaker, it is clear that proportional representation is a form, one of the forms of electing people into the House of Representatives. We are not denying that. But when you look at section 108, when you look at section 108 of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, point of order. Mr. Speaker, we are here deliberating on the constitutional instrument. We are talking about the constitutional instrument, Mr. Speaker. You should confine yourself to the subject matter. Aye. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, these constitutional instruments we are looking at, Mr. Speaker, have bearing with the Public Elections Act that we'll be looking at shortly. So therefore, if I reference the Public Elections Act or Public Election Bill 2022 that we'll go to shortly, I believe it does no harm to the debates. That is why I referenced it. All what we are saying, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we will do due diligence to the Constitution of Sierra Leone. As you described it the last time, that is the ground now, and we believe it supersedes every other law. Therefore, anything that has to do with this book, with this Constitution, should not be treated with levity. We should give it every seriousness it deserves. In conclusion, I want to say yes, there is need for us to have an additional commissioner for the additional region that we have, and we ask that it be specified other than us leaving it as such other commissioner as from time to time. Maybe, who knows what will happen tomorrow? If we have a president that probably does not seem to be democratic, can explore that gap to do something else. So we are asking that we are specific with regards the existing regions that we have. And for gross misconduct, let us have a definition. Let us have a definition. It is clear. We have battled over this time and again. The last time when you talk about consultation with regard to the appointment of commissioner, they will tell you consultation was not defined. I will not want to be seeing things like that repeating themselves. I want to thank you very much for the opportunity, and we look forward to hearing the response from the Attorney General with regard to some of these critical issues that we've raised, all in the interest of Sierra Leone. It is one Sierra Leone that we have, and we should serve this country diligently with our heart. Thank you.
Just a question, Mr. Speaker. With regards to the definition of gross misconduct, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, if we are going to be given a definition with regards to misconduct on this amendment, is it going to cut across other provisions? Because in the same constitution, we are having the word gross misconduct in so many provisions. So what I want to know now, are we going to have the same definition cut across, right across the Constitution? That is my question, sir. I need a clarification on it, sir. You don't able to distract me.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to begin by thanking the Attorney General for hearing. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to begin by thanking the Attorney General for adhering to the dictates of this House. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you profusely for leading this Parliament to the direction it should go. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, some 10 years ago, the Parliament that existed used the elections, the Public Elections Act to amend the Constitution. Today, as Speaker of this House, we have said and we have directed that we should correct the wrongs of the past. So thank you very much. That shows we are very democratic and forward-looking. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I remember vividly the former Speaker
of this parliament, the Right Honorable he used to tell us, Mr. Speaker, to thyself be true. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, some few days ago, we listened to our colleagues from the other side, and they were very, very intelligent. We should not bring the Elections Act of 2020 to amend the Constitution. And they recommended that we should bring constitutional instruments to amend the Constitution. As a listening leadership and as a listening government, we have done exactly what he requested for. We have now brought in the constitutional amendments for the amendment of sections 32, 2, and 8. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, what simply the Attorney General and Minister of Justice have done is to recommend that in future, if there are new regions, the government of the day will not have to come to this parliament. Mr. Speaker, the parliaments before now, they were specific. They said the electoral commissioner and 4 others. And in 2015, Mr. Speaker, regions were created. And because of time or because of delay, the government at that moment was not able to come to this parliament for amendments. So we noticed we ran the 2018 elections without having a commissioner of all regions. So what simply the Attorney General has told us is for us to have a commissioner and commissioners of various regions. And these are commissioners of various regions. There is no way you circumvent a commissioner of a region that doesn't exist. And today we have 5 regions. So the Attorney General is saying we should have a commissioner, the chairman of the commission, and 4 and 5 other commissioners, and all other regional commissioners. So in future, if there are other regions created by government, this government will not have to come to this parliament. But the law should be able to stand the test of time. This is a forward-looking Attorney General. And that is what he's recommending to this parliament for us to adopt this amendment. So as a parliament, I think we should not be at each other's throats, but we should bring this together. So that we taking into cognizance the mistakes of the past and taking into cognizance the mistake that has happened in 2015, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, for we have seen even legal-minded people saying we should define misconduct. Mr. Speaker, what we are simply doing is strengthening the electoral commission, strengthening them. We don't want to have a case, Mr. Speaker, in which we have a president that will not have the electoral commission, the chief electoral commission or commissioners, and uses the law to say, I'm going to remove him or her from office. Taking into cognizance, maybe the chairman or the commissioners are not playing to his game. So what we are doing, that's why I appreciate His Excellency the President. He has said he's strengthening institutions. And simply what we are doing is strengthening the electoral commissioner, the electoral commission, making it extremely very difficult to be removed. We are making it extremely very difficult. So in future, we will not have a president that will just sit in his armchair and he or she feels the electoral commissioner is not listening to him and he says, I'm going to remove him or her. So we are making it extremely very stiff, very difficult. We are not doing it in tandem with other provisions of the law. For instance, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the same method of removing His Excellency the President is the same powers we are given for the removal of the chairman, the electoral commission. We are using the same powers to remove the Auditor General to the same as the electoral commission. We are not saying the same way
that judges should be removed should be the same way that you should remove the Electoral Commission. And the word here is gross misconduct. Before now, we know the simple way of removing an electoral commissioner is by misbehavior. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we should not be fighting for this. We should be sincere to ourselves. What I have observed, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, our colleagues are buying time. They are buying time. We should be sincere. The public is listening to us. They are looking at us. We should be sincere. If we want to strengthen the institution, they should join us in this.
Mr. Speaker, point of order. He's a very senior member of parliament, and I advise him not to go away from SO 32. Please.
Mr. Speaker, I am within SO 32. So, Mr. Speaker, as colleagues, I'll advise we all collectively support the Attorney General's decision to strengthen the Electoral Commission. How can we come and define gross misconduct? Let us just say this is the same definition given to the removal of the presidency. The same definition for the removal of the judges. And that's what simply we are doing, is to strengthen and tidy up the removal of the Electoral Commission. We should be seen building institutions. If we are a weak government and we want to control the Electoral Commission, we'll simply say, let us continue as the status quo is. And tomorrow, if we have an Electoral Commissioner that is not working in line with what we can remove him or her. But we are very, very sure we want to build institutions. That is why we have now said we tie the removal of the Electoral Commission to the removal of the presidency and the judges. So, honorable members, I think we should not be wasting delay. We should not delay on this. We should be in this together. The public is watching us. We should be sincere with ourselves. We should know these are laws that we
I thank the honorable member for his contribution. I really wanted us to wind up this debate, but
thank you very much.
You will be the last speaker before.
Mr. Speaker, for the very reason that the honorable leader, deputy leader of government business, was talking about, are the reasons why we on this side are asking for specificity when it comes to what is the issue about gross misconduct. Because we have seen situations wherein we have not, up to this state, been properly informed what gross misconduct is cited the case of the Attorney General. We saw what happened in the case of the Attorney General. According to the Constitution, there was supposed to be a tribunal before setting aside, before dismissing or suspending the Attorney General. But we saw the Attorney General being suspended before the tribunal was set up. So, in order for us to remove those aspects to ensure that to strengthen institutions, as my colleague was saying, we want to ensure that things are properly defined, that are specific. What constitutes order to government, and we only want to help our colleagues in trying to strengthen the institution. That is why we are saying now, what is wrong in us trying to specify that now we are going to get a fifth commissioner, because we have another region. When we get to the time wherein we have other regions, if there is need, we will create another one. There's always the parliament. There's always the parliament. And the parliament is there to make laws. When laws are dynamic, we make laws based on the demands of the time. That is why the laws are not made to be static. When we get there, we'll cross the bridges. But for now, let us be specific about adding one commissioner to make it 5, because we have 5 regions. We cannot anticipate what will come, because That will not say we could not get more if there is need to. But for now, what we have before us is for us to create a commissioner for the 5th region that we have that don't have a commissioner. If there is need for us to have more, when the time comes, we will get there. But for now, what we have is what we must direct our attention to, and that is what I think we must only address. And again, my colleague was saying, the honorable from Bawia was saying that we are buying time. We are buying time. That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because I don't know what time we are buying here when we are trying just to be very analytical and very direct about what we are saying.
Mr. Speaker.
Deputy Leader, I'm still give my permission to respond. But I'm still standing, and I'm sure you respect that as a senior member of Parliament.
Carry on.
So, Mr. Speaker, for now, I want to limit ourselves to the people imported this constitution that 4 commissioners for 4 regions and the electoral commissioner. Now, if we have to have 1, let us have 5 commissioners plus the electoral commissioner. I think to be specific and to be very precise is what the law requires here. I thank you very much.
I thank the honourable member for his contribution, and I give the floor to the Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have debated, we have exchanged views, and along the process, we have learned as well. Mr. Speaker, the 2 issues on the floor, as far as this bill is concerned, are direct. One that has to do with gross, replacing misbehavior with gross misconduct, and the other that has to do with the word such in the drafting of the bill before us, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, taking a cue from the last speaker, we are of the view that laws must be certain. And if they are to be certain, we don't want to leave the gap for somebody else to play with. So on that note, as far as that particular side of the amendment is concerned, we will also be going towards that ties a specific figure to the number of commissioners we have. It is good that the Attorney General has been told is forward-looking, forward-thinking. It's very good, Mr. Speaker. But in the process of being a forward thinker, he himself knows laws must be certain. And on that note, Mr. Speaker, I believe it was in 1991 that this very act, our constitution, was enacted. It's over 30 years. So it has stood the test of time. But as the last speaker said, we are here to make laws. If it means we have to come back tomorrow to address an issue, that is why we're here. That is why we're here. We'll come back and look at the laws as and when the need arises. Because no 2 circumstances could be the same. And normally they will tell you that circumstances do alter cases. And this is one of them, Mr. Speaker. So on that note, as far as that particular area is concerned, we do not want to be obstruct. So that is why we are making our views very clear and known that we will support that amendment, but with specific figures, Mr. Speaker. On the issue of gross misconduct, we are still waiting at the conclusion of the debate to hear from the Attorney General what this is and how he will guide this House, so that will inform us before we vote. I thank you very much.
I thank the Leader of the Opposition for his statement. Leader of Government Business.
There are various contributions that we have put running first. People thought they were going to fight in Parliament today, and that we are not supposed to pass any law in Parliament. I mean, we had the expansions, the innuendos, but the veracity here
is that we are ready to make Sierra Leone a progressive state. We have ascertained that what we did, bringing options for what the other side proposed. For me, we are all looking for amendments. I want to be very assertive. We want to be very assertive. When we were at the pre-leg, I asked the presenter, I said, and the minister, giving it elusive definition that we should have only other region, I have my reservation. But they tried to convince me, I said, when we reach another point, we'll see what we can do. I think we're on the same page. There was something missing in the last districting that led to the birth of the Northwest region. So today we are happy that we are seek to address that one, having one chairman and other 5 commissioners. I think we don't have a problem with that. We can move on with that one. That is clear. But one point that's very clear, I say bravo to you, that we have consensus on having 2 talks. Because we need 98 votes. You are good Sierra Leoneans, irrespective of what is going on. Irrespective of the characterization of what we have done, we have sold, we have collected money, we are Sierra Leoneans. $50,000, so much as we said. So if you really have money, you are right. You know, when it comes to the matter of we want to put the nations first, people will start to cast a lot of blame on us. But when it comes to the matter of making our own business as a way to make the MPs look good, asking for interior, that will lambast us properly. And they are saying they are giving us money. Lying that they are giving us money to pass the constitutional instrument. And when we ask for an amendment, when members made, even within their constitutional remit, to do a right thing, they are lambasting us properly. That tells that we have evil people among the nations who don't want growth to be in this country. They are evil people. They don't want good. Anything that is good for MPs, they will kill it. Anything. If you want to have consensus to discuss this bill, as we are doing now, to have amendment for section 32, they have said so much about us. But the fear of accident for Honorable Numa cannot stop me from driving. I serve my conscience and God. That's what I do. Yeah, the holy man. I'm a Catholic Christian. I'm not a Christian, I'm a Catholic Christian. And in night, thank you very much for colleagues for proving it wrong. That we are here today to put Israel first. And we are going to amend 32. Coming to the 32.8, they are right. Somebody told us in 2012, using 32.8, said go police SO2. That's misbehavior. Or we didn't go to court. No. Misbehavior. Because it's in the law. We ask that our result, you should not give us a presidential result, give us a parliamentary result. And she addressed us, go police chief electoral commissioner for that matter, in 2012. And she used, in 2007, she used another law that was not given to her to invalidate results. Just after that, we came in 2012 and we enacted null and void if you have overvoting. We as Sierra Leone, we have been facing the peace of this country is very paramount to us. So we are not circumventing any law or ambushing the law. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I will listen to you. Bravo for proving it wrong. I'm really happy. I'm happy because they say we are going to fight. We are going to kill ourselves. We are great people. We have done the repeal of Part 5 of Public Order Act. Other parliament did not do. We have done the abolition of death penalty. We have done the cyber law. This is great parliament. Bravo to you. Bravo to you all. Nobody going to mislead us. In this one, we are going to do the right thing, Mr. Speaker. So one, we will accept the 5 so that we make the law can be assertive. For the definition, honorable leader of the opposition, I said we can, because I'm making a reference to that AG, we really have to lead us. Because, Mr. Speaker, I want to get your attention on this one. It's very critical now. They have asked for the definition for gross misconduct. They also, by mistake of what transpired 2012, we have in the present act gross misconduct. In section 51 of the Constitution, we are talking about gross misconduct. But let us all turn to the, I know you have the Mr. Speaker. All of us, we have the Act. Let us go back to Section 5 of the Public Elections Act. I want to read a 5.2, 2012. Take it out. 5.2.
That is the only act. For now, we have a bill.
They have said, I don't know, maybe when we come to the committee, say all of us will put us together to fine-tune what we can do, as proposed as Honorable Manispain asking for us to define gross misconduct. They said, when a member of the Electoral Commission is to be removed from office for gross misconduct under subsection 1, the statement of the gross misconduct shall be addressed to a tribunal. To a tribunal appointed by the President. So we are saying, maybe in mind, thinking about go to tribunal for the President, and I want to insert it for the Chief Electoral Commissioner with that of the Auditor General and Paramount Chief. Maybe in that tribunal set, they will bring out definition what it takes for you to be in form of a gross misconduct. Maybe they can define that one. Well, for me, I think all of us need to agree on something here for gross misconduct. Either we leave it to the tribunal to define gross misconduct, or we look out for a definition today. If you look at the Oxford definition, or you Google, there is something that I would not like to use. Because it's not good for you. You are saying you want to strengthen the commission. And if you use the neutral definition for gross misconduct, you are saying without notice you can suspend the person. You cannot just do that for Chief Electoral Commissioner and even for the President. So we have to be careful. Maybe that is the reason they said the tribunal should come out and address the issue of gross misconduct. So I want you to be very careful with that definition. And we are open to anything. This is the day. Let's say the veracity we have here today is to tell people that we are Sierra Leoneans and to put the facts before our political parties. We are taking off the veil of politics. We are talking about issues that can strengthen our democratic institutions. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. We know you have continued to arbitrate us. The things that are dividing us are very small, but the thing that brings us together is very great. The unity, freedom, and justice. Thank you very much. God bless us all.
I thank the leader of government business. The landed Attorney General may want to respond to the many concerns and issues raised during the debate.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I must first want to thank honorable members for their time in debating the bill that I'm piloting before them this afternoon. And I will take time to try to clear some issues raised in a form of doubt. And one key question posed by honorable members is the definition of gross misconduct. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the intention is to harmonize the laws and to ensure that the holder or people in those offices are protected. Mr. Speaker, I refer you to Section 19 of the Chieftaincy Act No. 10 of 2009, which guarantees the position of a chief. A chief cannot be removed ordinarily from his or her office, except you go through a tribunal, and the criteria are there. The same applies to Section 51 of the Constitution Act No. 6 of 1991 for the ultimate seat of the land, that is the presidency. No individual can just remove the president from office for misconduct or gross misconduct if they could not prove any of the elements set out in the Constitution. It is in that same vein that we are thinking it is the right thing to do to bring the Chief Electoral Commissioner or the Electoral Commissioners to ensure that they are protected in the carrying out of their duties.
The main purpose of that is to avoid arbitrariness and dictatorship. Because rightly, maybe for any instance, any person, say a president, can get up anywhere or at any time, accuse the chief electoral commissioner for misbehavior. Misbehavior is very subjective. It's what I think, what I feel for that particular moment. I'll just run through the elements of the house of gross misbehavior, gross misconduct. An individual must owe a duty to the accuser. So if we are saying the electoral commissioner or the chief electoral commissioner must be protected, he must feel confident in his duties when carrying out a function. Whoever is alleging any foul play against the electoral commissioner must be certain, must have a very strong, concrete allegation to bring forward. You occupy that office, you owe a duty to me. You owe a duty to a taxpayer. So you cannot bring any short issue for misbehavior. Misbehavior is very subjective. In addition to that, an individual, let's refer to the individual as the electoral commissioner or the chief electoral commissioner, must fail to perform such duty. It is a question of certainty. He must fail. The trust and confidence reposed in that person, he must be reckless in carrying out that duty. The accuser must suffer harm or injury. The recklessness of the electoral commissioner or the chief electoral commissioner must have caused me a very grave harm. And all those we categorize under gross misconduct. And failure of the other party to perform his duty results to a very serious harm to the accuser. That is unlikely situation for misbehavior. Misbehavior, I can refer to any individual can just look at me by not answering, or if you greeted me, I could not answer. For you, it's just the interpretation will be different. We don't want to bring that or equate that with the chief electoral commissioner. That is a very serious position. That is a very serious office. That office is necessary for our democracy. As we are thinking as a progressive nation, a forward-looking nation that binds together with other decent democracies around, we really want to strengthen and empower the electoral commissioner or the electoral commission so they will feel more confident in carrying out their duties without any fear. For the question, Mr. Speaker, about 32.2 and creating the electoral, the region, we know we are all humans, we are bound by mistakes. Let's agree that Northwestern region was created. I will not say it was by mistake because it's still the law. But however, as a visionary country, we have a visionary president who believes in democracy, and we all as Sierra Leoneans believe that we are one of the most decent people in the universe. We are just thinking to correct the wrongs as we move on. Northwestern region is already there. Anybody can get up tomorrow and challenge that. We don't want that as Sierra Leoneans. We are taxpayers. Whatever money we pay as taxes is very important to us because it goes towards development. So in that bid, we have thought it right to come forward to correct that situation. No finger is being pointed at anyone. All what we are saying is for honorable members just to galvanize and support the issue for us to create to amend this particular section. The issue is not about another commissioner to fill in that region. Again, Sierra Leone is evolving. Nobody can tell tomorrow our population is growing. It saves us a lot of cost to come forward to run to Parliament any day, any time to ask for amendment. So if we have this legislative provision now, it is my belief that it will not be abused, it will be more thoroughly guided. And so in the future, if we have any other region, we think in our right minds to create any other region, it will be easier for us to appoint a commissioner to run that region, rather than wasting resources to come back, spend time, to go through another rigors, and for us to start everything all over again. So, honourable members, for now, it is my honourable plea to you to see reason, you see, look at this provision and say it is not a trap or not a mine for any individual, but it is a progressive provision in altering or changing that, trying to correct the wrongs. When 32 was, the Northwestern region was created, there was no hue, there was no cry. But you and I know that the method was not absolutely followed. And so, had it not been for the issues raised by this house, the public would be there not knowing anything. But that does not stop us. That does not stop the government. That does not stop the president from looking forward and saying, let's correct it as we move on. It does not create any harm to any individual. It will not earn me any extra time of my life, neither will it earn any one of us extra time of our lives. But just to ensure that we get things done, we keep within the confines of the Constitution and we move on with our right laws. Again, Mr. Speaker, one of the honorable members made reference to the white paper and wanted me to comment on that. I will just simply say, for now, you can excuse me on that because it is not yet before you. So I will keep that information if I have any, please. And again, on the issue of gross misconduct, one of the other members make reference to the Auditor General's removal from office. I would say again, with due respect, the Auditor General has not been removed from office. This is the more reason that we are here before you for the Electoral Commissioner to ensure that they are protected in the, during the time when they are in that office. The Auditor General is going through the process. When the process is completed, it is only this house, that has the power and mandate to remove the Auditor General from office. So for now, the Auditor General is going through the required procedure. Except, honorable members, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, except there are other issues to address, but I think these are the most salient points to answer to.
And with that,
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I move that the bill.
Mr. Speaker, you know at the second reading what is expected of us. So that's why we are encouraging him for us to be on the same page. Because you know what is expected of us at this second reading.
Point of observation, sir, Mr. Speaker. Observation, sir, Mr. Speaker. Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah.
It's Tabemko again. So my own opinion, we need to give love to the people of this country. We are here, we represent our people in this country. What is good for the people of this country, let us follow up that procedure. What is bad for the people of this country, we cannot encourage it in this House of Parliament. In the first place, we don't need to see a lot of policemen around the vicinity of this Parliament. This is a very simple bill that we are going to pass in this House of Parliament for the people of this country. For example, we are talking about 4 commissioners. Where you have 5 commissioners, I don't think there is any problem with that. If we have 4 commissioners, at the end of the day, we don't have the 1 commissioner to make it 5. If they give us a result that is not satisfied by our own side, it will become a big problem for us. Now, as my colleague Honorable said it here
we
today,
had wound up the debate.
Yes.
I cannot allow you to reopen the debate.
I want to bring some points, sir. I have a lot of points.
You should have tried much earlier to catch my eye. You had the only
Just an observation. Thank you very much.
For those of you who do not understand, he has just tried to give meaning to his name, Tamenko. Omem.
Speaker, by the way, do we have any honorable member here by the name of Tamenko?
An alias, anyway. Yes, Leonard Attorney, please go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I move that the bill entitled the Constitution of Sierra Leone Amendment Act 2022 be read the second time.
Honorable members.
Yes, hello. See, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
He has to come out for the House to be assured from where he is before we take the next step. So, you know, on the committee stage, then we will officially do the necessary adjustment. But for the voting itself, we don't want to obstruct it at the end. Let us make progress while we go.
Honorable Leader of the Opposition, I'll show you of the text.
Okay.
That's why I'll show the text. We'll use the text in the Constitution just to change it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, wait a minute. Which text are you talking about?
The format. In the Constitution, we have four. So they are proposed that we should have a specific number.
I know. I have no.
So what we have in the instrument is different. So we are saying the amendment, we use the one in the Constitution, we just say 5. We follow the same amendment, we follow the same text in the Constitution as an amendment. So can I read that? Can you? Well, let me read it out. Yes, I think. Yes. For the, are we on the committee stage now? Or wait for the committee stage?
Yeah, let's wait for the committee stage. Let's finish with the second reading.
Okay, yeah, committee stage.
Honorable members, the question is that the bill entitled the Constitution of Sierra Leone Amendment Act 2022 being an act to amend subsections 2 and subsection 8 of section 32 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone be read the second time, and there is going to be a division. According to the provisions of section 108, there has to be a vote. All those in favor of the question, please rise and be counted.
Mr. Speaker, can I observe? Mr. Speaker, we said we have an amendment to make for.
That will come at committee stage.
You want to go to do it?
At committee stage. At committee stage. At committee stage. I invite all of you to read 108 clearly. Those in favor of the motion. By the way, in case there are any members outside of the House,
Okay, we have an issue here. First of all, we should know that constitutional amendments, the first constitutional amendment that amends subsection 2 and subsection 8 of section 32 of the 1991 Constitution is before Parliament, and they need to vote. And obviously, according to section 108, you need 2/3 for any question put forward. So now, the subsection 2 speaks to additional commissioners, while subsection 8 speaks to the change of the word misbehavior to gross misconduct. That is for the definition for the criteria for removing the electoral commissioner chairman. That is what subsection 8 is speaking about in section 32 of the Constitution, which is to be amended. We should know that what is before us for now is the amendment of constitutional instruments. We are not yet in the public elections bill at all. This is just the constitutional amendment, which is section 32, specifically subsection 8 and subsection 2. Subsection 2 speaks to additional commissioners to be added. We know we have the northwestern region, so they are saying we should have another 5, making 5. We have currently 4 commissioners, so they are now amending the constitution so that we can have an additional, which will make 5 commissioners. The constitution speaks that in section 32, subsection 2, specifically speaks that there shall be an electoral commissioner for Sierra Leone. Section that the members of the electoral commission shall be a chief electoral commissioner who shall be chairman, and 4 other members shall be known as electoral commissioners. So now they are trying to amend this provision to add it up to 5 members. That is the first amendment. And the second amendment is subsection 8, which says a member of the electoral commissioner may be removed from office by the president for inability to discharge functions of his office, whether arising from infirmity of mind or any other, for misbehavior. So they want to change the word misbehavior to gross misconduct.
I made a ruling on this matter. As far as I am concerned, I cannot ascertain 2/3 majority without a vote. I cannot do so by a collection of voices. That's my understanding of section 108 of the Constitution. We have to vote. Now, it's very simple. If there is unanimity, I will know. If there is unanimity on an issue, it's very easy to tell. It's very easy to tell.
Mr. Speaker,
I'm not opening this matter to any debate.
Mr. Speaker, we have no problem with this bill. We have no problem.
Then please vote and let us proceed.
No, but the point is, I agree that if you want to attend to us by voting, fine. I agree.
Yes.
But the standard of voting cannot be by standing. It cannot be set in standard office here.
It is there. You rise.
It cannot be
rise
here. That is my problem.
Rise in your seat. It is there.
Mr. Speaker, that cannot be a standard practice. It is not democratic. It is not democratic. That cannot be a standard practice. That is our problem. We have no problem with this bill. We will vote for it. Come on. We will vote for it. We have no problem. But if you insist on voting,
I insist on voting.
Okay, I agree.
I insist on voting.
I agree. But the standard of voting cannot be by standing. That's not the normal practice here. That is our problem. We agree.
Mr. Speaker,
there is an alternative.
we are not objecting to vote for the procedure. No. But let us vote by secret ballot. I think that is not acceptable and it is not parliamentary.
We are supporting this bill 100%. We have no problem. But if you insist on voting, then it cannot be standard practice by standing.
But the proper way is by standing.
No,
Mr. Speaker, for us,
we say no, go by
Mr. Speaker, point of order.
It's very clear. Mr. Speaker, order.
Order. Honorable members, take your seats.
Mr. Speaker, first, we are unanimous in voting for this amendment. We are unanimous. Yes. That's clear. Mr. Speaker, you are referring to the standing orders 46. Members on the other side say, without correction, it is unanimous. You are saying here 46 is there, but not to 46 in the alphabetical order. Mr. Speaker, the Constitution is...
That is the alternative in 46.
Alternative, but let me draw attention to 94 of the Constitution. This is a standing order that you have the power to regulate us based on the provision given to us in the Constitution. So if we agree at this moment, we are on record that you do collection of voices and unanimous, so be it. Come two. When two, if you want us to stand, so be it. I'm coming. Mr. Speaker, what is good for us? We have said and we have agreed to ourselves and members of the opposition on the other side. We want collection of voices.
Don't worry.
We need it now.
When I ask you to rise in your seats as is stipulated in the SO, if there is unanimity, I will make pronouncement accordingly.
Mr. Speaker, that is not the procedure. That is not the procedure. We are supposed of this thing.
Mr. Speaker,
and everyone is there.
I think for obvious
that is not the procedure.
For obvious reasons, can we please do like split ballot?
Arguments and controversies on whether they should go with secret ballot as stated in the standing order, or the Speaker's proposal that MPs stand for them to be counted. Negotiations still going on whether they should follow the procedure of the standing order for secret balloting to take place, and the Speaker wants MPs to stand and be counted. This is just for the first constitutional amendment, which is section 32, subsection 8 and subsection 2, and subsection 2, like I said earlier, speaks to the number of commissioners that should be appointed. Now they want to change it from 4 to 5. Subsection 8 speaks to the removal of electoral commissioners, and by changing the word misbehavior to gross misconduct.
Mr. Speaker, I move Mr. Speaker, I am moving a motion. Mr. Speaker, I wish to move a motion. Go ahead. That if this House is unanimous, then collection of voices be considered as the voting pattern for this particular purpose.
Mr. Speaker, I second that motion. Daniel.
You don't take an ambush in this constitution. You don't need tactical ambush. It's a tactical ambush. Let us not confuse the people of this country. People of this country, the heroes. Let us be on the other side of the house. Let us do the people. Let us do the people of this country. The people need us. And let us show the love of our people in this country. Let us not do Mr. Speaker, honorable members, we want to prove to you here that we have always been true to ourselves. In our debate, we have said we are not challenging this bill. We want it. We are more Sierra Leonean here than our parties. And as far as I'm concerned, the Constitution requires 2/3, yes. And the only way 2/3 can be determined is by invoking SO 46. So SO 46 can be invoked in the event there is challenge. If there is challenge, then somebody can stand under SO 46. If there is no challenge, then 2/3 is implied. But what we are against here is that for voting to be determined by standing, that is out of it. We cannot determine voting by standing. We can do it by collection of voice. If there is no challenge, then that is 2/3 is implied. But if you insist on voting, Mr. Speaker, if you insist on voting at all costs, then it must be by secret ballot. It cannot be by standing.
Yes. So by any case, Mr. Speaker, as the abundance of caution, that's why I decided to move that particular motion. As the abundance of caution, at least to save your tears. To save your tears, Mr. Speaker, I move that if this House is unanimous, that collection of voices be used as the voting pattern for this particular motion.
I so second the motion, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Yes, Mr. Speaker. Yes, right.
Any seconder to that motion?
Objection, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I so second that. I so second the motion.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Speaker.
I'm not going to allow you to speak anymore.
Mr. Speaker, I want to speak to
all those in favor of the motion.
Mr. Speaker, please, sir.
No.
I don't envy you at all, Mr. Speaker, at this point in time.
Exactly.
I don't envy you. But, honorable members, Mr. Speaker, whatever we are doing now is pursuant to a motion. Correct? That has been moved and seconded.
That is correct.
Thank you very much, sir.
All in favor of that motion, say aye. Aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, before the pronouncement, can you get the clerks to confirm that you have the required number of members sitting now? Can you get them to confirm?
Yeah.
You mean before I put the question? Because and in order to get the total number, all members of parliament outside of the chamber should be invited to come back to their seats. That is in keeping with the spirit of SO 46.
Mr. Speaker,
I will allow 5 minutes for those outside the chamber to come in and take their seats.
Mr. Speaker, from our side, all our MPs that we are in this morning are
Looking for a new dimension in hospitality? Then, welcome to Fabulous Resort, located in the gem of West Africa. With a discreet and personalized service, this is a perfect beach getaway retreat for honeymooners, couples, friends, group, and solo travelers. Our resort is ideal for hosting barbecue parties, dinners, and private events for friends and loved ones. At Fabulous Resort, everything is as